If you want to find the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. If you want to find the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Now, believe it or not, this is proven within the scientific community. And many civilizations and so-called religions and various shaman, my favorite being Carlos Castaneda, have alluded to that fact. And many religions, beliefs, however one wishes to term it, refer to man as a replication of the universe, or their interpretation of the energy, whatever it may be, creating all things.
Hi there, Adrian here, and this is a video from a Zoom session that we do. We do these Zoom sessions every Sunday and we take questions and answers from the audience. Some of our students, some of our members. We never know what questions are coming up, so I'm always excited to do these sessions and I hope to see you at one of them. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and check out the other playlists that we have. Thank you, enjoy.
At this time, Sir Lord William, more on his song frequency and vibration, the new technology. Now, William is an entrepreneur and a neurolinguistic programmer and a master practitioner, and he has had many years in the field. So he's about to grace you with his presence and grace you with the insight and knowledge that he's gathered on this topic. So without further ado, I'd like to hand things over to you, Sir William, to share with us.
Well, thank you, as I said, for coming. It's going to be an interesting shot, this one this evening, because frequencies are within all of us and throughout the universe. So one of my favorite people in the past, philosophers in the past, was Socrates. And as he said, true knowledge exists, knowing that you know nothing. And to be quite honest, we think we know something, but in reality, not a lot. Okay, now does our future lie in the understanding of what we are, where we came from, or indeed what we are not, or are we actually here at all? It's an interesting concept in as much that we have many tools within us, many people can heal, many people can actually create their futures by the way they think. But some people, unfortunately, don't have the ability to heal, or in actual fact, are unable to be in charge of their lives. And this is where frequency comes in so importantly. And it can make such a difference as long as one is able to have the right focus and the right intent. Now, was the beginning the beginning? In the beginning was the word. But we should never assume, because assuming something can sometimes make an ass out of you and me. But I have to assume this, that maybe all went well until a certain time. There was an Adam and Eve, went to the Garden of Eden, met a snake, ate an apple, and goodness me, all went upsy-turvy since then. So have snakes been controlling influence of mankind from then until now? Now we have Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. We have Cleopatra, who killed herself with an axe to her breast. But also we have snakes as a part of the symbol of the medical fraternity, with the rod of Cassius, I think it is, in between. But also what's really interesting, in the Vatican City, there is an audience hall of the Pope, which when it's photographed with a wide-angle lens, looks like a snake. And as you can see over here, there's one of the popes, I don't know which one that is, but he's receiving an audience in it. It's rectangular in reality, but with the wide-angle lens, my goodness, someone's put some thought in there. Now, snake's venom can be used both for good in medicine and for bad, of course, as a poison. And there's been a lot of snake oil, and it's used as a term, ever since time memorial, really. Well, certainly since the days of the Western. And of course, nowadays, in recent times, unfortunately or fortunately, however you look at it, the venom of snake and snail has been used in recent vaccinations. Now we have to assume a few more things for today, though. And Descartes, as he said many 400 years ago, I think, therefore I am. In Latin, he actually said, dubito ergo cogito, cogito ergo sum. I doubt, therefore I think, therefore I am. So he questions things, and I think we all question things, which is important to make us realize there's so much more to know, but also that, you know, life is a natural progression, really, always something to know. The more we understand, the more there is to understand. Again, Socrates, the great philosopher, said, I cannot teach anybody anything, I can only make them think, which is so true. We believe we're teaching, but actually in the process of that teaching, people are thinking to make their own adjustments to the way they think. And the only one thing I know is I know nothing. We mentioned that before. But to those in NLP, I believe this may well be the new code NLP in its high performance stage. Now, I emphasize keep things simple, and many of you know I'm a great fan of Einstein. And he said, well, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Now, for this presentation, please forgive me for presenting this, but please put your mindset as to a child, because a child has no preconceived thoughts, and they're open to anything that may happen. And also they have an absorbent mind, and they can absorb all the mysteries, and probably they're closer to knowing the mysteries of the universe at that young age than we are as we get seduced by other influences as we grow older. So this will maybe help make the difference that makes a difference. Who knows? Now, many of you who are in NLP saw my previous presentation with regard to the NLP model, communication model. And for those who don't know NLP, basically what it is, it's a very simple description of the process of communication. And bearing in mind that we take into account 2 million bits of information per second, but we can only actually work out 7 of them at any one time. It's quite a mind-boggling experience. So basically the information goes in through the eyes, the ears, the senses and what have you, and we in our brain, we sort it out between our conscious, subconscious, unconscious, and all the memories we have and values and beliefs. And then we sort of make our behavior accordingly to how we perceive it. But to those of you who would like to see that presentation, I've got it up here. Perhaps you can, perhaps we can put it into the chat thing later. It is quite an interesting, simple, but expressive way of explaining NLP. Now, a reminder of our simple complexities, of course, the human mind model, the conscious mind, which is, I suppose, our rational mind, if you wish. We have our subconscious mind, which is, I suppose, which has our feelings and emotions, which is our hard drive. And they have the unconscious mind, which looks after our heartbeat. It's an autonomic nervous system. Our heartbeats, the way we breathe, even our immune system. And of course, our digestive system. And then we have, of course, we have the complexity of our left brain and right brain, where we have the logical things that are going on in life on our left side, and our more sort of spiritual or emotional side of things going on the right brain. So yeah, so there's a whole load of things going on that we need to be aware of, but it's going on without us knowing what's going on. Now let's have a look. Things become a little more interesting now, and something probably more practical that people can relate to. Now, frequency, vibration, sound, and intent. Now, intent is very, very important through this process. Now, believe it or not, this is proven within the scientific community. And many civilizations and so-called religions and various shaman, my favorite being Carlos Castaneda, have alluded to that fact. And many religions, beliefs, however one wishes to term it, refer to man as a replication of the universe, or their interpretation of the energy, whatever it may be, creating all things. So as beloves, as above rather, so below. Now, many strands of DNA still have yet to be known to have a known purpose, which is quite interesting, really. But let's look at what is proven so far. Now, we are 70% water, or 70 to 80% water, and we imprint the water by our thoughts and intentions. Dr. Emoto, a Japanese scientist for many years, proved that water has a memory. And remembering the water we drink and the oxygen we breathe has been recycled since time immemorial. Now, they call it the science of morality, Dr. Emoto's process. And he conducted worldwide research on the effects of thoughts, brainwaves, upon the molecules of water. And the descriptions below are taken from one of his published books. So this is all fact. So this is all can be referred to, and perhaps many of you know about it anyway. But I think it's important for those who don't know about it to appreciate that it can be physically shown. These thoughts intent make a big difference. So he used a very powerful microscope in a very cold room, along with high-speed photography, and he photographed those newly formed crystals of frozen water samples after they had certain thoughts and intent put into that water, distilled water, I hasten to add, by the way. Now, Dr. Emoto discovered that crystals formed in frozen water reveal changes when specific and concentrated thoughts are directed towards them. Now, this is the beauty of positive thought, and it's like a snowflake, really. It's very symmetric. It's very beautiful to look at. It's sort of diamond-esque in a certain way. It's abstraction. And he found that water from clear springs and been exposed, and water has been exposed to loving words, show these sorts of examples of brilliant, complex, and colourful snowflake patterns. So just bear that in mind for a moment. I've got someone else coming in. We've got to hear that. Okay. Now, in contrast, polluted water, water exposed to negative thoughts, forms incomplete, not very pleasant patterns with dull colors. Now, on the left here, we have you fall. So this is someone actually telling that sample of water, it's a fool, a terrible fool. And, even though it's symmetry there, it's not a very pleasant symmetry. And polluted water, as you can see, has come out with no sensible symmetry at all. Well, what's happened here then? Sorry. Don't quite know what's happened here. Sorry about this. There we are. Okay, more beauty. So on the left is someone sort of expressing gratitude, the intent of gratitude, and someone expressing "I love you," which is rather an intricate pattern, to say the least. So they're very beautiful, symmetric patterns with good intent. Beauty and the Beast. So these are the complex differences. Thoughts of love and acceptance, which is a very complex pattern, as opposed to "you make me sick, I will kill you." It even looks like a little man with a bow and arrow in there to me, but who knows what it is. It's certainly something very strange, that's for sure. Now also, Dr. Peter, he did a rice experiment, which proves in many ways the old theory, we are what we eat, and food does need positive thoughts. So on the right, we have rice that's been given a good intent, positive thought, and we've had rice on the left, which is unfortunately not been attended to with a great deal of affection. In actual fact, hate's been put to it. So after a period of time, the one on the left, you can see, is not very pleasant to eat, but the one on the right certainly is in its normal state. Now, the power of thought and intent. Never underestimate the power of prayer. That's, prayer, whatever that may be, to whoever you may be, and positive thought. And praying in gratitude before eating is actually scientifically beneficial. So, many people have a few words of gratitude before they eat, and that actually somehow creates a different frequency within that food. So therefore, we're not powerless. We're very powerful in how we can create our future. Now, united energy, speaking in positive thought or prayer daily, or multiple times daily, can literally shift the balance of destruction in the world. Some people are still endeavoring to do this at the moment. I haven't been involved with that at all, but certainly, who knows what's going on at the moment with all these wretched wars and earthquakes. And there was an earthquake today in Taiwan. I can't believe it. So with regard to the molecular structure of water, our intent or thoughts, words, have a profound healing or destructive effect on water. Now, we must think to ourselves that, well, if humans are 70% water or 80%, it means our human thoughts can also have a profound healing or destructive effect on us and any of organisms within us. Just as a thought, think of children. Some children told by their parents they're stupid, they're silly, and what have you. That imprints on their body, and they're told they're worthless and this sort of thing. That has an effect. That has an effect.
I was trying to look at a few things.
Sydney, I think you've got your. Can you hear? So in reality, the power of thought on a children or even an adult's situation can make a power of difference. So what we think creates our reality, not just emotionally, but physically. This also transposes to the earth, because in actual fact, our wonderful world is 70% water too. So that means in reality, in theory, thought energy of the people of the world, if it's very positive, the world is very positive. It's very negative, things that happen at a strange level, earthquakes and tectonic plates and things happening with the ionosphere and what have you, and wars, and it's just crazy. This is theory. I cannot prove it, but certainly it appears to be that way in the world nowadays. Now, Nikola Tesla, he said, think in the terms of vibration and frequency. Matter and thoughts are all made up of energy. And as Dr. Emoto said regarding his experience, since all phenomena are at heart resonating energy, by changing the vibration, that's with our thoughts and intent, we can change the substance. We also need to remember that human thought energy is like that of human strength. Effects vary on its practice, and concentration. So many people go and meditate, and they just to focus on what they want to create, that part of their life. Saints or healers perform miracles through accumulated positive thought and energy of prayer. Black witches, of course, perform curses and dark magic through accumulated negative thought energy through various rituals. But also there are also white witches who perform with positive intent for the benefit of people and their situations. The evidence is clear that we really can heal our Mother Earth through intent, love, and the action of scientific prayer, whatever that may be. That's the intent in reality. Or alternatively, we could destroy her. But one ingredient is crucially important, and no matter how we apply the way we think, and that ingredient is faith. And if you don't have faith, you have doubt. And if you have doubt, it is a negative thought, whereas faith is a positive thought. Interestingly, for many people, the Bible and other religious books are actually scientific manuals, but not yet fully understood. Now, Dr. Emoto, he also used photos to experiment with. Now, this is an experiment where frozen water was exposed, or water was exposed to a picture of a young child with a smiling face. Quite interesting, that, in as much that it's still quite a pretty to look at. Quite pleasant. And this is also one of his photo experiments. And he showed to Stillwater a photo of Stonehenge, believe it or not, which is located in the southern part of England. Some people say the stones actually display the direction of north and south. If so, we can see that there are north and south sort of ice crystals on there, but interestingly, no east or west, of course. So it's as if it's were a needle of a compass. Now, Dr. Emoto was also interested in music, and he had his musical sound experiment. And when water was exposed to Mozart's Symphony 4 in G major, but I haven't heard for a very long time, I must say, it comes out with a very symmetric sort of pattern. And I've never heard the Japanese kawachi folk song, but that looks very, very pretty, like a flower almost. And so, yes, so even that sound, which is the frequency anyway, has a big effect on water. Who remembers Johnny Rotten, the headbanger? Well, this is his metal. This is his music. Well, some people may like it, of course, because we're all different. But certainly the majority of people will consider that not as symmetric. But in actual fact, it is sort of symmetric, but not a pretty symmetric. Now, the effects on humans and animals. Now, this is fact. Blue Danube, if you play Blue Danube to hens, they lay more eggs. Cows produce more milk with slower music, believe it or not. And wheat can grow faster with violin music. That's been proven. It's 66% more wheat crop. That's really interesting. Most rats prefer back to heavy metal, but some rats do prefer heavy metal, I must say. And upset dogs respond to classical music to calm them down. Crocodiles are the same, apparently. Plants, well, classical music proves more growth in plants, as does positive human attention. So talking to plants actually does make a difference, believe it or not. The plant behind me I talk to occasionally. Now, music can be playing to change it. We all know this. This is common sense. It can change a person's mood, can strengthen, deplete our emotions. But interestingly, in controlled testing with children, those who listened to Mozart before an IQ test were about 7 points ahead of those who listened to relaxation tapes and 8 points ahead of those who actually had listened to nothing at all. And was classic problem. Yeah, well, it assimilates with the heartbeat. Now, there are other subtle frequencies as well and vibrations that normally can't be seen, felt, or heard. And there are so many, including chakras. Many people hopefully have heard of chakras and meridians. There's magnet therapy, where the magnets can change the ability of the body to heal. Color healing, crystal healing, healing of stones and essential oils, herbs, vegetables. There are so many. And basically, they're all based on a frequency in their basic form. And all these are healing modes, alternative medicine, the healing modes use positive energy. There's so many indeed. And so even vitamins, you say, well, it doesn't need positive energy, but the contents of those vitamins actually do have a frequency that makes a difference to the body. Now, Einstein was a very clever man. He worked this out, and he reckoned the universe is interconnected network of information and energy. And the human body is part of this web of relationships. We'll have feedback loops, say we have a cause and response, basically, that's what we're saying. And our health is dependent upon the body's correct processing of information and energy the energy we consume with food, the energy that comes to us through people's interactions. And quantum theory realizes the interconnectedness of everything. So everything is interconnected. So interconnecting reflects the truth that nothing is independent. Everything is consensual and has a constant interconnection with everything. So everything is like everything, all connected somehow. Crazy, but there it is. Now, is there a theory of everything? The unified field theory. Now, I'll read this because it's the way it is. It's a term coined by Einstein to describe the fullest attempt to combine general relativity and electromagnetism. It now broadly denotes the goal of describing all elementary particles and fundamental forces in terms of a single field. That is the theory of everything. Now, my goodness, you're going to have to be way, you can get close to understanding everything, that's for sure. But that's Einstein's theory. Now, the energy of love, which is interesting. Some people think it's crazy, but the energy of love permeates everything in creation. Science refers to it as the 0 point energy. So science recognizes there is this energy. So there is no nothing. 0 point energy is everywhere. And it's everything, and it's in a very gentle waveform. Now, some people will think I'm totally mad, and some people will think I'm absolutely wonderful. But if you put your hands together like this, you can sometimes feel, and if you concentrate and give it long enough, the energy going between your hands. Okay, and as you do this, you can actually feel the energy build up. It may take time, you may have to be in a different frame of mind for it to happen, but it's certainly worth trying, because energy is, we are just basically made of energy, and we can sense that when we concentrate on it. Now, also the human energy field, or light body, that means all around us, we have this energy field. It's rather like a magnet, if you wish. We know that magnets demonstrate an energy field with iron filings. Well, our body has an energy field, but we can't really put magnets around us, or little iron filings rather, to see where it is. Now, there are differing energies. Fear is the lowest and densest vibrating energy, which is fine. You know, that's pretty obvious, I suppose, really. But unconditional love is the highest and finest vibrating energy. All negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions are based on fear, but all positive feelings and emotions are based on love, which makes sense, really. It's a bit like light over darkness, really. And by removing all the negativity from a person's energy field, it is just like deleting a virus infected files on a computer. So this, in a person, promotes good health. And of course, in a computer, it means it works properly. Now, intuition is really quite important in this process. You have the confidence to allow your intuition to blossom. I'd say Einstein, he's one of my favorite heroes. He said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. Now, we have created a society that honors the rational mind and have forgotten the intuition, the gift. Interesting point. So what Einstein's saying is the intuition should be the essence of us, as opposed to letting the left brain say, oh, well, I'm not sure about that. Let's see what's happened here. Let's do the pros and cons, what have you, as opposed to letting it come straight in from the universe. Now, another way to develop our intuition, I'm sure many English have heard of this one before, the wise old owl, an old nursery rhyme. And I'll read it to you. A wise old owl lived in an oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. We should learn from that wise old bird. So true. And the logic behind this is when we listen, when we listen, we meditate, we get into a space of silence, a kind of stillness within ourselves, when we learn to react to anything around us or everything around us. And we learn to choose where and how to spend our energies. And we learn to ignore the trivialities that surround us, because so many trivialities surround us all the time. So important to listen. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so always better to listen. So pure knowledge is not imparted by another, it comes unmasked. It is one that is listening who hears. It is our own true nature that comes through. And that was, I can never pronounce his name, someone Mahara, Nisargadatta Mahara. Now, frequencies are everywhere. I think everyone would recognize this because we experience them in daily life. We have sort of radio waves over here. There are radio, television, telephone, all these strange things coming along. Sound waves. This is the electromagnetic spectrum. We'll come to a bit later. And of course, we have the radio frequency. And what many people are recognizing now, that we actually communicate, all these things are coming through us, but only some of them we actually recognize. Many people recognize the chakras. Most people just recognize 7, but actually there are actually 12. So this is something that is more spiritually aligned, if you wish, that brings us in connection with many aspects of the universe. And of course, we have our meridians, and with the acupuncture, and they use it. And the meridians, once they're blocked, they can cause problems. They can cause liver problems, heart problems, what have you. So the art is to keep them unblocked as you can. And many frequencies are able to do this. And that's when when acupuncturists get into you, they're just endeavoring to unblock so your frequencies can run as they should. And of course, that affects animals as well. Now, nothing is whatever it seems. And here is an example of a person's energy field. Some people can actually see this. I can't, I wish I could. But it is quite phenomenal. All that energy whisking around you that makes that we don't recognize ourselves, but some people certainly recognize. And sometimes you can get into contact with another person, get close to them and say, oh, I instantly like you, or oh my goodness, I don't like you at all. Now, what is actually causing that in that instant moment? And it's something that may well be involved with our own frequencies that attract or dispel whichever is appropriate. Now, also, we spoke about intuition. This is with the chakras. Is this something that we connect to with the universal mind? Who knows? But certainly, it seems to be a route through to understanding more of what goes on in the world, universe, or whatever, or within ourselves even. So mindset. So nothing changes without changing a mindset. We all know that. Especially in NLP, we know that if we change the way we think, we act differently and get different results, that's for sure. And in my opinion, your future present is actually now in your hands. So remember what I said about the energy, but also it's your decisions within your mind that makes a big difference to the now, the moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. Interesting thought. Now, this is my time of thinking. I don't need to know everything. I just need to know where to find it when I need it. And for someone with perfect intuition or connection with the universal mind, this is perfect. I just need to develop my intuition a little bit better. But where else can we go to find information? The factual side of things, apart from the fake news, the rewritten history, the political directives, or the, whatever, the things they try to entice us with or seduce us with. We have Google, textbooks, friends' knowledge, specialist circles and clubs, and the similar things like that. But also we have go to our own way of understanding and gaining knowledge. And many of these things, it depends on our own filters and belief systems, of course, but intuitional, our inner voice, whatever that may be, meditation, whatever however that suits you, because meditation is different things to different people, and really, as long as it works for you, there's no judgment whether it's good or bad or the similar. And of course, some people have soulmates, spiritual guides, shaman who they can connect to, and muscle testing or kinesiology, if you wish, where the body can sort of subconsciously know what's good for you, the automatic system. And as we know, if you remember, we had the kinesiology in the last presentation, which seems to work incredibly if you ask the right question, but you only get a yes or no answer, so it can guide you very much so. Now, Tesla, Rife, Einstein were ahead of the game. So Einstein said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of reality, and you cannot help but get the reality. It can be no other way. It is not philosophy, it is physics. So in a way, is this the alchemist's dream? If you can match your frequency with the frequency of what you want, whenever it may be, it should materialize. So is this really the alchemist's dream? It's not changing lead to gold, it's changing our thoughts into reality. Now, what about Einstein, Tesla, and Dr. Raymond Rife? Well, nothing is ever new, as we said before, but just newly rediscovered. And concerning matter, we've all been wrong. What we have called matter is really energy, whose vibration has been lowered to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter, there is only light and sound. That's Albert Einstein. And Nikola Tesla said, I think we've had this, I think Dino mentioned this, to understand the true nature of the universe, one must think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, not many people know this, but it's becoming more well-known recently that Dr. Royal Rife was aware of this in the 1930s. Now, the first thing I must say, we do have free will, but we have no choice. We can't say we don't have free will, because we do. If the body is balanced in pH nutrients, it is not susceptible to disease. And the healthy body is a flowing interactive electrodynamic energy field. So every cell within our body has a voltage and a frequency, and it's supplying the bodies with a full band of frequencies. And this supports the biosystem as every tissue, cell, molecule, and photon vibrates within its own range. Now, remember, photons are the essence of everything, basically. So just bear that in mind. Now, what was Dr. Rife's secret? Now, he was well ahead of his game, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, but unfortunately, he wasn't accepted. His amazing microscope, which was able to view the minutest of cells, so he could pick up a cell from a cancer lump or whatever it may be, and discover the various frequencies that killed them. So he had he had the cancer cell under his microscope, and then he tweaked his frequencies until the cancer cell died. And he had, they say 100% success rate on about 88 people, I think, or 18 people, but I say 99%. And the rate of hopelessness was absolutely fantastic by using this this process of matching a frequency, killing the cell with that vibration. But the big problem was, of course, that if he did that, Big Pharma wouldn't make any profit out of cancer and what have you, and other horrendous diseases. So he was hounded out of business by a multiple number of courts challenges by the powers to be. And his microscopes and records mysteriously disappeared. Who knows? Maybe a conspiracy theory, but who knows? Oh, sorry about this. Don't know what's happened here again. Okay. Right. So what was Tesla's secret? Now he said, my brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there's a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. He admits he hasn't penetrated the secrets of this core, but he knows this exists. And if you knew the magnetism of numbers 3, 6, and 9, you'd have the key to the universe. Which is interesting. I'm saying I don't think anyone's ever discovered the key to the universe yet, but it could be homework for someone later. But simplicity put, he created a system to magnify the Earth's natural energy many times and distribute it anywhere in the world for free. You know, quite amazing to say the least. Now, for those who'd like some homework, here is I'm saying it's so complex, you'd take months and months to actually go through what he did. Here is the theory, Tesla's 369 theory of the universe. Now, the only thing I recognize here is that between everything is 9, every number there's 9. If you go across, they add up to 9, each one, 6 and 3, 5 and 4, 7 and 2, 1 and 8, and there's 9 at the top. And that's the only thing I've discovered out of it so far, but I'm really, really keen to try and fathom a little bit more of what he meant by that. Now here's a picture, it's a double exposure picture I hasten to add, one of his electrical energy devices, without wires which produce the energy. It's a double exposure. If he was sat there with that going, he'd be dead, I think, probably. But it just goes to show no wires, just creating energy from what's around us at this very, very moment. Now, there's a terrain theory as well, to be disease-free. This is very counterintuitive, but worth a thought. You know, some people may think it's quite crazy, but, you know, I think just to have that childish look at it and just think about it. Now, people in the 19th century stayed mostly cancer-free with little medical attention. The person who takes medicine, says Dr. Curran, must recover twice, once from the disease and the effect of the disease, and once from the medicine. But the human body is not basically suicidal. The human body wants to survive. So tumors do not form because the body is trying to kill itself. They may be, I say maybe, serve an important purpose. And toxins that are absorbed in the body, which they are everywhere nowadays, is perhaps they're absorbed into the tumors, so the body protects itself by that. Maybe, it's just a thought. The key, therefore, this I agree with, the key, therefore, to reducing or eliminating tumors is to stop the toxic exposure. Not easy nowadays, but awareness is half the battle. So match the frequency of the toxin to minimize the toxin absorption into the body, and aim for a toxin-free body for optimal health. I think that's common sense anyway, but you know, it gives a different view on things. Now, Tesla said there's no cheap free energy device will ever be allowed to reach the market. I've changed it to no cheap cancer cure or free energy device will ever be allowed to reach the market. Of course, because the powers to be wouldn't allow that. And here we are with Roy Rife, with his sapping of the cancer by matching the frequencies with the disease or the cells and the malignant cells. And here we have Tesla with his free electricity, basically, that we could have had no need for coal, oil, or even gas. So he was a bit of a, let's say, a threat to the system. Life lessons from Tesla, just in passing already. Generally, just requires solitude, be alone. That's the secret of its invention. Our mind is only a receiver. We just need to tune into it to receive the universe. It's rather like tuning a wireless into the correct radio station. I suppose there's a similar thing to that. But importantly, when someone says it can be done, do it. So the other bits are not that important. So if people are interested in that, then well worth when you're in your own time, well worth the let's say the experience of looking into what happened with Dr. Wohlweif's microscope and Nikola Tesla with his energy. So as above, so below. We have the magnetic field that's all above and around us, and we have the gravitational field that's all below and around us. That's just bear that in mind for a moment. Now, the electromagnetic scatter, this is where it becomes really sophisticated, I suppose, in many ways. Because if you see the electromagnetic spectrum, it's vast. Now here's what we see. This is our visible light, okay? And it's compared to Mount Everest and there's other thing. It's just like where this frequencies are really large, we have something about the size, something between a pinhead and a fingernail, which is quite crazy. Here's another representation of it here. But if you go on to here, it makes it more clear. So I should read it. We open our eyes and we think we are seeing the whole world out there. But what has become clear, and really just in the last few centuries, is that when we look at the electromagnetic spectrum, we are seeing less than 1/10 billionth of the information that's riding on there. So we call that visible light. But everything else passing through our bodies is completely invisible to us. So even though we accept the reality that's presented to us, we are really only seeing a little window of what's happening. So, that really brings our position in the universe into perspective, really, in many ways. And we're grateful for what we have, but my goodness, there's so much we can get to know or learn. Now, how do we fit? We are linked with an ever-evolving, never-ending chain of frequencies. That's everything coming through us, everything coming out of us, everything swirling around. And also sympathetic resonance, which is it's rather like these two tuning forks. If they're both static to begin with, and you flip the first one, the second one close to it comes in resonance with that. So there is sympathetic resonance in many things. So if you extend beautiful thoughts, beautiful things happen, basically. Now, frequency and quantum entanglements. Now, if you remember that photons are the basis of most things. Now, for example, if you have two things manufactured at once and they're split across, they always entangle with each other. They call it quantum entanglement. It's strange things, a bit like love, I suppose, in many ways. People have that mystical feeling between them, soulmates and what have you. So they have the same frequencies going on. Sometimes it doesn't last forever, of course, but many people have soulmates for all their lives. So we just need to be ourselves when I'm unlocking the path, okay? Science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature. And that's because in the last analysis, we ourselves are part of the mystery that we're trying to solve. Yes, so, there's so many unknown things within our own selves. How on earth can we solve the mystery of nature? How can science do it? Interesting fact. Rediscovering rediscovered. This makes sense. Sickness results when cells, molecules, or particles of matter are out of their normal resonance or vibratory cis pattern. So by repeatedly exposing damaged tissue to the normal resonance of that tissue, often healing occurs very quickly because the resonance of the healthy tissue connects with the resonance of the unhealthy tissue, and they both resonate to a healthy state, not the other way around. Good thought. Now, vibration. Many of us will remember, well, perhaps many of us don't remember the Beach Boys and their Good Vibrations and what have you. And it's a fabulous song in those days. And then, of course, during the 60s, there was this sort of commune therapy where people sort of gathered together for peace and love. It's this has been around a long time, but it hasn't been sort of more in the open, if you wish. Make love, not war, and all that sort of thing, and nuclear disarmament. Yin and yang, they have frequencies too. Now, let's go to this one first, frequencies of intention and balance. You know, the male and female, the left and the right, the cold and the warm, the water and the fire, the hypo and the hyper, the right and the left. Basically, that's the yin and yang, they're opposites. But in pragmatic balance with in the world, basically one should do no harm, but also, excuse my French, take no shit. That's quite a useful advice. I've imprinted that on my brain recently, actually. Well, Einstein, without religion and spirituality, is lame, and without science, religion and spirituality is blind. Now, if you go back to religion and spirituality, why? Okay, religion is based on scriptures, certain teaching, has limits, has rules, and laws prescribed. So you're restricted in the way you think within that particular religion or belief system. Now, spirituality deals with the nature of the soul and the information related to the soul. A soul is absolute and ultimate truth. It's the process of leading the total energy of the body to the soul. And spirituality is about integrity. And integrity really is also about the experience of that integrity. Now, science, the how. Science brings knowledge, factual knowledge with logic and evidences. In pursuit of rational knowledge, people started, because of this, people started questioning beliefs. More scientific discoveries bring more questions on people's belief systems. Science has more of a left brain rational approach, and this is a work of logic and proofs. There's no right or wrong. They fit in a way, but it's always good to have balance. Now, just a thought. I like thoughts. Spirituality leaps where science cannot yet follow, because science must always test and measure, and much of reality and human experience is immeasurable, which is so true. Now, quantum physics, biology, and chemistry. Quantum physics says that every atom in the universe has a frequency. Biology and chemistry states that the body consists of a variety of atoms. So all contain photons and electrons and a bioelectric energy that runs through the body, which is directly connected to the source of all things. A healthy body broadcasts a frequency between 60 and 72 hertz. And when the frequency drops, the immune system is compromised. Excuse me. Oh, I've got something here. What's happening here? Let's try that. Once again. That's in there. So quantum healing. Chris Kessler says the future of medicine lies in the understanding of energy fields and our ability to make changes within those energy fields. And all disease has an energy component, emotional level disturbance lying behind it, resulting in an imbalance of energy in this field. He says this is the future of the 21st century. I quite agree with him, really. So what he's saying is basically everything has a vibrancy, has a frequency, and once that is either blocked or changed for some emotional reason, or some form of disturbance within the electrical system within the body, you get an imbalance of energy, and that's what causes the problems. So that's where we need to rebalance the energies. Quantum healing in the humans. This is treatment is focused on the whole patient. That's body, mind, and spirit treated together, not just the body, not just the mind, not just the spirit. And the focus is on prevention versus disease. So it's the changing of attitudes. So mind is the builder. Mind is the healer in many ways. Well, obviously good diet, exercise, relaxation, and meditation. Remember that dear old owl. And of course, sometimes you can actually use additional vibrational energy devices like crystals, talismans, holographic stickers, Rife devices, and lucky charms. It very much depends on the individual of what resonates with our own system, if you wish. So the future is now, in my opinion. Machines have now been developed to mimic Dr. Rice frequency healers. They are based on scalar waves, the Rife frequencies, pulse electric magnetic frequency, laser, ultrasound, plasma, and various other frequency machines. Now they're becoming affordable nowadays and fairly easy to use. Only Germany officially recognizes their usefulness. Most other countries, because of their, they can't prove it scientifically, if you wish, don't allow their medical fraternity to accept them as a proven way of doing things, which is a bit of a shame, really. Now, here's one example, and it's a question of, okay, getting the, when we here, that's it. This generator here is connected to a computer which has a whole list, or a whole 6,000, in this case, it's about 60,000 different frequencies for various diseases that have been discovered so far. And if we bear in mind that a man, this individual person, has his own frequency. So therefore, if you take some DNA from this man and put it into one of these, I don't know what they call them really, I suppose, connectors of frequencies. So this generator creates a frequency that's put through this DNA to this, which connects to this body because of the quantum entanglement between the protons of the person and the clip and the nail clip, if you wish, and then it can alter the it can match, if you wish. It's very difficult to explain it. You can match the frequency from the generator, which is the frequency of the good condition of that ailment, to the bad condition of that ailment within the individual, and the bad condition of that person will match the frequency of the generator, which will make that bad frequency revert to the situation's normal frequency, if that makes sense. So it's really like a relay, if you wish, sorting out the frequency, the bad frequency, from a frequency from the generator. And many people have had a great relief from that, but of course it's not common in the mainstream nowadays, that's for sure. But this particular one, it needs a window program. It has an extensive list of frequencies. It needs a person's DNA so they can transmit transmit the frequency from the generator through the DNA to the person. Because remembering that photons are really connected with either from either point, wherever it may be in the universe, across the other side of the world, or wherever it may be, they're always interconnected. And the good frequency always overcomes the bad frequency. So yes, you can also sort of diagnose problems or helpfully diagnose problems, subject to obviously visual checking as well. And of course, it can detox, which is quite useful. Now, this is for those who want sort of hands-on stuff. I won't go through all of this because of the timing we've got here. But for those that I think that there may well be, I think that if you want to protect your auric and energy fields, there are certain things that many people do. They're listed down here. One of the things is wear gold or copper. Many people wear gold bracelets and what have you, or pendants. Take mineral bath water, prayer, meditation, all these sort of things. Quite fascinating. Now, for the sake of time, this is just reminders of our particular chakras and our body, and this is our chakras, if you wish, and our layer. We have 7 layers of body, if you wish: celestial body, etheric body, astral body. All these sort of frequency situations. Some people believe it, some people don't. I believe there's a lot of truth in it. I can't prove it, but it certainly works for me. Now, we mustn't forget the nervous system, that's for sure. We haven't mentioned that. That's something that interacts with us, which is an interesting subject in itself. And of course, you've got the circulatory system and the lymphatic system, which also makes big differences in frequencies and what have you. Now, some of those may remember the original like sort of diagrammatic thing of NLP. Now, after sort of running through this and getting my conscious sort of state to understand or endeavor to understand what else is going on, we have all these other interfaces. So for those who are new to this, the blue is basically the NLP. Whoops, oh, come on a minute. The blue is basically the NLP procedural, but the other bits I've added in are what we've talked through today. So we have all these influences. We have the gravity and magnetic field that influence us. Maybe I was trying to say, oops, what have I got to? Yeah. And gravity. And of course, many people believe in astrology. So we have the personalized astrology when we're born. That may make it. Some people it's absolutely silly, but many people believe in it. Major sun and moon influences. We even have the tides or influences, and we call some people lunatics when they're affected by the moon. So there must be some truth in that. And then of course we have the chakras, the 12 chakras, and the 12 meridians, which we saw from like acupuncture. We also have the lymph and circulatory systems, and bearing in mind we have the light body in our auric field, which are really our connections, our way of connecting with all the frequencies of the universe. This is just something to make people think, really. Are we just holographs? Who knows? So although genetics and cellular chemistry are important facets how the body works, there's deeper realities to the body, one in which physics, especially the field of quantum electrodynamics governs physiology, and the interaction of quantum waves imparting energy and information that is encoded in the human body field, which serves as a holographic template for the physical body. So we are what we think we are, basically. The universe is an interconnected network of information and energy. The human body is part of this web of relationships. Our health is dependent on the body's correct processing of all the information and food and what have you, that exercise we do. Now, everyone will have a different view or goal. So be a you can be a dove, a wise owl, or a little old butterfly somewhere. So from my point of view, live and connect in the moment. Always explore life with good intent. Encourage your intuition to guide you. Live with gratitude of your blessings. Live with positive intent and an open mind. And never be judgmental of yourself or others. That is really difficult, I know that. And take a little time to relax. Also learn, like the wise old owl. Enjoy random acts of kindness, helping others and in turn yourself, and make a difference that can help others make a difference. Now, should one be a kingmaker or a king? If you're a kingmaker, you gift your knowledge for others to absorb and use, and be content knowing your bestowed knowledge may be the catalyst for others moving forward in their life. And happy not to accept thanks from those not ready to give or receive, but be grateful and always enjoy the moment. Or do you want to be a king? Be inspirational with your teachings. Know that some will criticize you. Accept that not everyone is able to understand what you teach, or indeed be ready to listen. Lead by example. Be prepared to be a role model, or conversely, a scapegoat. Of course, they may beat you, but always be grateful. Or whatever you do, enjoy the moment. You can be a kingmaker and a king at the same time, of course. Okay, now come to the question, really. Is sound, energy, frequency, vibration interacting with our intuition, our higher self, and new technology? Well, some people nowadays think there is no alternative. It is correct. And with the new essence of new code NLP, it certainly points that way, because you're picking a lot of information up from the universal mind, as opposed to having to go through all the mechanical ways of doing things. But there again, the mechanical way of doing things is very helpful to get to the awakening, if you wish. So please remember that, and also remember Adrian Cahill's NLP practitioner course. I had to put that in, but he is a good trainer. So me, I'm definitely in. I think this is the new technology. It's not really technology, but it's a new, the new awakening, if you wish. How about you? Think about it. See what you think. You know, don't have to answer now, but just please think about it for the future. Who knows what's going to happen? So anyway, science is catching up. And as recently as September the 5th, there was a new study conducted by the University of Helsinki, invented brainwave synchronization while pairs of subjects played a game in which they controlled a racing car together. The subjects were physically separated in 2 soundproof rooms, and as they say we were able to show that interbrain phase synchronization can occur without the presence of the other person. And that was one of the doctoral researchers. But the CIA declassified some papers on the gateway experiments, sometimes known as the portal experiments, which will make your hair curl. But that is for another day. For example, they proved beyond any shadow of doubt how to encourage the left brain and right brain to come together, and also how you can communicate with others from a distance and what have you. But anyway, we'll try and explore that another day if you're interested. So please absorb those positive frequencies and guide, help others to discover and attune to them. And I do hope that some of this talk has been useful. I do hope that you know, you don't think I'm crazy or mad. And I do hope some of whatever you may think is crazy or mad may resonate with you at some future date, because this is the future of the way we're going forward. So thank you all very much. Appreciate your time and concern.
Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.